What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to World Renowned Heretic. Happy New Year. It is 2017. So I took the last week or so of 2016 off after the Zygarde video that I showed you guys before Christmas. So it has been over a week since a new video has been here, and since then the Dallas Regionals took place, and Mega Gardevoir and Greninja were the two big decks that we saw in Top 8, specifically Mega Gardevoir, a deck that was hyped heavily going into Fort Wayne Regionals. And of course, when everyone's reading all into Eviltal, Mega Gardevoir comes out and shines at Dallas. And the list we have here, card for card, is Connor Finton's top 4 list, which is pretty much, according to him, within 2 cards of all the other top 8 Greninja, or I mean not Greninja, Gardevoir lists, including Xander Perot's first place list. So anyway, we're going to take a look at this since we haven't actually done a profile of it since way back before Dragonite. So we've got a 3/3 Mega Gardevoir line, Despair Ray for a fairy and a colorless, dealing 110 damage plus allowing you to discard as many of your bench Pokemon as you like, and then dealing 10 more damage for each bench Pokemon you discard. This gets rid of Lysander targets, gets rid of stuff like Shaman and Hoopa off of your bench, and then Dragonite allows you to recycle them, and you just continue to discard everything and take easy knockouts. Mega Gardevoir also is a dual type fairy and psychic, so the fairy type isn't going to hit a lot for weakness aside from Salamence EX and Giratina if you play a Hex Maniac down. But the psychic half will hit Mega Mewtwo for weakness, and that is huge. Great counter for Mega Mewtwo, which is another deck that people tend to go a little bit towards for the Eviltal matchup sometimes. It makes Mewtwo a near auto win here. And then we play the Steam Siege Basic because I like Luminous Blade doing 120, being able to take out a Shaman EX, and then also Link Blast, just crazy against the Double Dragon Giratina early on. You just hex him and then boom, 200. So overall, I mean, I think the big thing here is the 120 versus the other Gardevoir who only does 100 for 3. You get the Shaman knockout. I think that's pretty key. Most of the time, you're just going to Mega Evolve it, though. So 3/3 line, we have 2 Hoopas to be able to search out our evolutionary line. 4 Shaman EX, much like a Mega Rayquaza build. Lots and lots of draw power, turbo engine, all go. Just, you know, you could plow through most of the deck in a single turn with this. So that's a pretty solid card to have. And then 2 Dragonites for recovery. Keep a Hoopa in your discard pile after using Despair Ray. Dragonite, grab it back. Go search for more Shamans, more Gardevoirs. And then just discard them all over again. Between that, Brock's Grit, and Super Rod, you got a pretty crazy combo going. And then we have 1 Rattata, pretty much exclusively to deal with Fighting Fury Belt and help us get OHKOs. Sorry about that. And 1 Hawlucha to get things that we don't want in the active out of the active. Stuff like Glaceon EX, Regice, you know, things that we can't really hit. So we have ways of dealing with that. Item cards. We have 1 Buddy Buddy Rescue and 1 Super Rod for immediate recovery to get Dragonite and Hoopa back so that we can take advantage of their abilities to pull a lot of cards out of the deck, refill our bench, and hit for more damage with Gardevoir. And also reuse Rattata in the event that we are staring down something with more than 190 HP. Next we have 2 Fairy Drop. This is really helpful in the Eviltal and Greninja matchups when they're not able to one-shot you. A lot of 2-hit knockouts right now in this format. Fairy Drop taking advantage of that, being able to heal 50 damage from one of your Pokemon as long as it has a Fairy energy attached to it. Really, really underrated card, I feel like, in the current meta, and definitely worth a couple slots here. We have 3 Mega Turbos to be able to charge up Gardevoir in a single turn. And then we have 2 Switches and 1 Escape Rope for our switch methods, again, with Eviltal being primarily seen as the deck to beat. Floatstone is not as good of an option here as Switch and Escape Rope are. And Escape Rope also can, much like Hawlucha, get us out of the Glaceon and Regice troubles that we would otherwise have issues with. And then we have 3 Trainer's Mail for consistency, 4 Ultra Ball, 4 VS Seeker, standard stuff there. And 4 Gardevoir Spirit Links. Even though we only run a 3/3 line since we play a turbo engine, a lot of times you're going to end up Ultra Balling away or Sycamoring away one of those links. So you want to be able to maintain 2 to 3 instances of getting Mega Gardevoir on the board per game. So that is our items. Stadiums, we have 3 Sky Fields. I always used to play 4, but I've found that 3 is actually mostly enough, because when you do really set up for the one-shot, you're not going to do that more than once or twice per game. So definitely take advantage, but I think 3 seem to be enough. Supporters, we got 3 Sycamore, 2 N, 2 Lysander, and then 1 Hex and 1 Brock. Chose this over Karen just so we can leave the 1 Hoopa in the discard and use Dragonite to retrieve it, or Buddy Buddy. And then 7 Fairy Energies to round things out. Again, I used to play 8. Trainer Wolf and I were originally building this, but 7 apparently sufficing, being enough to handle the most of the meta. So I'd like to say shout out to Connor Finton for posting his deck list online, and we are going to go ahead and take it for a spin. Okay, so we're playing against Water, Dragon, Psychic, Colorless, so Hoopa, Shaman, Dragons, some kind of water type. Yeah. Okay. Alright, well, this is actually not a bad hand, so we're gonna Gardevoir start. And what do we got? Colorless, Puzzle of Time. That still doesn't tell me that much. Maybe Rayquaza? That'd be a little awkward to play against right now. Yeah, I'll take the Muldra. Alright, we'll see what we get. Okay, Dragonite. Yeah, I'm guessing that's going to be Rayquaza, which is a little awkward to have to deal with. So we're going to go ahead and, let's see, let's just get those out of there. And Shaman. That's fine. Wouldn't have to worry about Skyfield, that's for sure. Alright, so we do that, we do that. Actually, I don't even think we needed the Shaman, realistically. I think we probably would have been better off grabbing the Mega. Alright, so we find a few things here. Nothing that I really want to play just this moment. So, probably just pass. And if he Skyfields, then next turn we could just lay down more stuff and go for another Hoopa. So we see a Trainer's Mail. And let's see what that turns into. A Puzzle of Time. So, Puzzle of Time here. Let's see. I guess just arranging his top 3. Probably setting up for a Shaman here. Instead of Water Energy goes on to Dragonite and he passes. Oh my goodness. Okay. Things just got interesting. Ultra Ball is going to throw away, let's see, the Buddy Buddy and the Switch. So we don't really need those. And now I think the question's got to be, do you go for the Shaman here? And I think the answer's got to be yes. Because in this case, I think you do legit go for the Donk here. Because it is a real possibility at this point. So that's going to go down. There's no point in that. And then we're going to get 5 cards here. And we need to hit the Skyfield and the Mega Evolution. We also need to find an Energy. Alright, so we get the Skyfield. We have the Energy there. We can Dragonite here a couple of times. And then all we need to find is Mega Gardevoir now. And we can donk this Dragonite. And there it is. We do draw it off the N. So Mega Gardevoir can sweep up our whole bench in exchange for a knockout here and the win. So just say goodbye to everything we've got on our bench. 180 damage just like that, and we will win the game in a donk. So not really sure how much I'm willing to count that, but we do get a quick W, and that's kind of cool. And assuming that was Rayquaza, that would have been an otherwise very bad matchup, I feel like. But anyway, we come out on top, so we will go ahead and take this one for another game. Alright, so we see Psychic Stuff. Oh, Psychic Stuff, yeah. Be Mewtwo. We like Mewtwo. Alright, so we're not winning any coin flips around here. That's for sure. But that's okay. Okay, so I guess we're going to start with Hawlucha. Don't really want to start with Dragonite. It just seems not good. And it is, let's see. Oh, it's a fairy-based Mewtwo. Okay. That's interesting. So, one down. And, yeah, we'll take a card. That sounds good. Alright, and oh, man, he started with Hoopa. Ouch. Alright, so we are going to see the same basic Mewtwo that we ran in the Metal build you may have seen a couple weeks ago. And so there's a Sycamore. We did get a double colorless down on the Mewtwo. We see a Fairy Drop, a VS Seeker, and a Fairy Energy thrown to the discard. Another basic Mewtwo, a Spirit Link, a Trubbish. And we don't need to be discarding anything off our bench for Gardevoir once it Mega Evolves to be one-shotting Mewtwo here, which is pretty damn convenient. Alright, so another Trainer's Mail. There is an Ultra Ball. And that's going to see play down, and we're going to find a blue Mewtwo here as well. And another Shaman comes out. So we'll see if he Shamans again for 3, and that's what he'll do. So nothing else to play beforehand. We see 3 more cards on setup. And we're going to have a couple of Trainer's Mails here to start digging, and hopefully find an Ultra Ball for a Hoopa before before Garbodor. Two names sound extremely similar. Before Garbodor comes up and just completely wrecks us. So we grab that Ultra Ball, and we can go ahead and play it. Throw 1 energy in case we hit a Mega Turbo, and we can throw the Buddy Buddy. And in turn, we will find a Hoopa EX. So that can go ahead and continue to search the deck, as we'll thin out some Pokemon out of there to make that second Trainer's Mail a more likely hit. So we'll grab Shaman and 2 Gardevoirs. Those can all come to the board, and we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And maybe could have played the T-Mail first. It really depends on how you want to look at it. We do find an Ultra Ball here, which we can use. Toss these 2 out. And let's see what we want to do here. We could actually Rattata that Float Stone, which would be kind of a funny thing to do. Doesn't seem like too bad of a play. And then we can also T-Mail here. And we do find an N. Could have also gone for another Shaman there. Real easy play. So we're going to go ahead and discard his Float Stone, though, make his life a little bit awkward. And then we'll Shaman, or sorry, not Shaman, N here for a fresh count. And we should be able to pass our turn at that. Yeah, okay, that looks pretty good. So we can go ahead and pass and try to make some fun stuff happen now. So we do see another Mewtwo Spirit Link. And he's going to just go ahead and play an N. And what getting rid of that Float Stone really does is forces him to draw, unless he wants to put a Spirit Link here, it forces him to draw 2 Float Stones to activate this thing. We find an Escape Rope here, as well as a Mega Turbo and a Mega Gardevoir. So we pretty much hit the nuts. We are going to see a Mega Mewtwo come into play. And here's an Ultra Ball, so he's probably going for another Shaman here. Or another Mega Mewtwo, one or the other. Alright, so instead we see a basic Mewtwo. So that's going to see the board, and then he ends his turn with just 1 card in hand, so we can... Let's see, do we have a Lysander in here? No, we don't. Okay. You can dream sometimes. So we're going to Escape Rope here, get Hawlucha out of the active, and we'll see if he gives us one of those baby Mewtwo's or if he gives us the Trubbish. So he does give us the Trubbish here. We're going to bring Guardy up, we're going to Mega Evolve it, and we're going to go ahead and Mega Turbo onto it as well. So we get a full setup there. Maybe we hit a Lysander here. Nope, that's just not in the cards. Is there anything? No, there is no target for Super Rod. We can grab Hex Maniac and Seeker for it later, I guess. Although I don't really know how much that helps us, since we're not discarding it. Gardevoir can go down along with Spirit Link. And I really don't want to end him here. I think we will actually Hex Maniac here instead. And then Despair Ray, and we can throw the rest of this bench just completely in the crapper. Just so he doesn't have Lysander targets. And we find a Sycamore off the prizes. Okay, good. That's more like what we want to see right now. Alright, so Mewtwo's going to come up. He's going to Verse Seeker here into his own copy of Sycamore, so that's going to get him a fresh hand. Discards a Lysander. And hopefully we don't see a double colorless and a Mega Turbo. If you can, as long as he doesn't get up to 5 energies on that active Mewtwo, we should be okay. Does have basic energies in the discard pile, of course. So Mega Turbo is live if he draws it. And he just showed the heart, which means he probably just hit the turbo. Instead, he fails the search. That's interesting to say the very least. I mean, I think you got to have a KO here. So he attaches a basic fairy. Now, he could just Mega Turbo twice here. Would be the same as a double colorless and a single one. But instead, he doesn't, so he does 190 damage, which is not enough to knock us out. And we draw Super Rod. Actually, a very good top deck for the given situation. So we're going to get back... we'll get... Let's see. Halucha is fine, and we'll get Gardevoir back. And I think we grab Shaman as well, because we can Dragonite for those two. And then we can Professor Sycamore here before we knock out his Mewtwo. Alright, so let's see, we do find a Dragonite, so go ahead and play that. Grab the 2 out of our discard pile. No need to even play the Rattata right now, but we will get the Mega Gardevoir into play. So we can get another Dragonite, we get the Mega Gardy, and we'll grab a Shaman. Not that we're even going to play very much of this right now, but it's just kind of getting it out of here. Getting the Mega into play is big. We can also Turbo right onto it, or, well, no, we don't have any energy in here. Okay, that's not a thing just yet. Really don't think we need to play anything else out of our hand right now. We can just kind of sit on it. And so we can Despair Ray here, toss these 2. And that'll put us in a pretty solid spot here. 3 prized advantage. We do find an energy off of the prizes as he brings the Hoopa back up, so making an implication that he's not even going to try to attack us here, although he does go ahead and drop another Float Stone. And so, alright, so now he's going to VS Seeker for the N. And try to slow us down here a bit. Now, this is where if he had the blue Mewtwo, he'd be able to do a little bit more, but it looks like he's going to be able to Sky Return here for a KO. Fortunately, we luck-sacked into a Fairy Energy, a Mega Turbo, and a Shaman. Really could not have asked for a better 3 cards there. So Shaman will Sky Return itself off the board, knock out the Mega Gardevoir, and then we're going to be left to charge up this next one, which we already have the pieces for in hand, and then see what we can take off the top of the deck after that. And maybe find a Lysander for this Mewtwo. Either that or an N. Either one of those plays would be pretty solid. We do find the N already. So we're going to Turbo, get an energy onto Gardy, go ahead and attach another one, and we're going to Shaman. So we'll get a fresh draw here. And it's not a Lysander, so it looks like we're in the market to play an N here. Drop him down to 4 cards in hand. We drop ourselves down to 3, which isn't really of much concern. And once again, I think we just sit on what we have here. So, let me see. Yikes. A little hesitant here since we don't have another Gardevoir. Maybe we try to dig for that. Yeah, I think we can go ahead and do that. We'll go ahead and ditch his Float Stone, but I don't really think that's too big of an issue. Well, alright, that's not going to be a thing. So, I guess in this instance then, Despair Ray, we're going to throw the Shamans. Alright, so that gets us a couple more prize cards. We hit a Skyfield and an Ultra Ball. But the problem here could become if he were to knock us out. Mega Evolution, again, if he gets up to 5 energies, he can KO our Gardevoir, and that could create a serious problem, especially if he got an N along with it. Otherwise, there's not really too much else I'm concerned about at the moment. That's really the one play that messes us up. He does attach a basic Fairy Energy. Now, Mewtwo decks tend to run pretty high on Turbo, but instead he just does Energy Absorption here, which will give us the game. He does get up to 5 energy, but he's not Mega Evolved, and he's already attacked, so we can just Despair Ray here, throw that out, whatever, take Weakness, take the Knockout, and we win the game. So there's the other Lysander, and so Mega Gardevoir, I mean, you pretty much always win that matchup. It's a good matchup. I mean, I guess unless Mewtwo doesn't beat Guardy unless you're Igor down in Dallas, you know, Igor versus Connor. That I still don't know how that happened. That was pretty crazy. But hats off to him for that one. But Gardevoir takes its distance here. So since we didn't get much of a game one, we are going to go ahead and do one more game with this thing. Jimmy M. Alrighty. You're playing Volcanion, huh? Volcanions a thing. Alright, we can play against that. Seems pretty good. So, alright. Hello. Yes, hello indeed. And Mulligan. That's a thing. Okay. So, redraw. Okay, yeah. Shaman start, whatever. I mean, when you run 4 of them, that's not really too big of an issue, I guess. Take your Mully draw, yo. Want to get started. Promo Volcanion. I like that artwork. Alright, so we got a Guardy with a link down, and let's see. We could just, I think, play an N here. Skyfield. There we go. Play an N. Alright, so we find some decent stuff here. Looks like we'd be able to Ultra Ball away this one, and I guess we just Ultra Ball the Sycamore since we just use it again next turn off of VS Seeker. We're going to go grab Hoopa, and that can become a thing. So we can go get 2 of those, 1 of those, make stuff happen. So we got that. Okay, that's a thing. Go ahead and play a switch. Get an extra card here off Shaman. Alright, so we find some energy now. We go ahead and throw that down. End our turn. Hold the Trainer's Mail for next turn. Alright, so he's going to T-Mail here. Nothing. Alright, yeah, I do like that art. Lysander. Aw, that's not nice. Don't Lysander my Hoopa. Just because I got greedy to draw 1 extra card? Come on. Alright, so we're going to evolve into Mega Guardy. And we're going to T-Mail here. Alright, Versus Seeker. Good. Go ahead and get another energy down there. Set up again for 3. Okay, there's another Trainer's Mail. Yeah, I guess we'll take a Spirit Link. So we can do that. We can do that. Get more stuff on the board. And yeah, sure, we'll put a Dragonite down. That gives us enough for another Donk if we want to make that into a thing here. And you know what? I'd be okay with 2 of them. Nah, we missed it. Crap. Alright, well, we tried. We're going to have to take this out to next turn. That sucks. Maybe he'll keep dead drawing. I don't know. We can always Sycamore again next turn. Turbo, let's see. I don't know. We'd be out of Mega Turbo, so that would suck. Alright, so he's going to Hex Maniac now. Another energy goes onto that Volcanion. And I think we just do that. Yeah, and I think we're just going to Sycamore again. All we need is a rope or a switch here. Ultra Ball. Lysander. Buddy. Sure. That's what we want. There's the rope. There's the switch. They're both in the deck. Not really sure what's going on with all that, but we're going to hard Mega here. So we got 3 Mega Gardevoirs on the board now. There's the third energy on the Volcanion. And he's still not drawing anything. We see a Volcanic Heat for 130. He says well played, and there's the top deck. Okay. So that'll win it for us. And we can just Despair Ray once again. And it took us a few turns to donk this time, but we just, again, discard 7 things off the bench, and boom goes the Dynamite. And there is Despair Ray for 180. So, Gardevoir does its job. Stalls a little bit on that particular round, but our opponent just dead drew, so... we did have a full game against Mewtwo, which of course is a really good matchup, but overall, just Gardevoir built to turbo, to go off like a turbo engine, and then just start sweeping, so... That is Despair Ray Mega Gardevoir. Mari and I sometimes call it Amy Lee or Evanescence, but... anyway, that's Despair Ray, and I will see you guys next time. Cheers.